there's no guarantee for getting jobs, but there are a lot of ways to make sure that you are leveraged and put into a position to be found and to be a hot commodity if you have the skills and services that can back it up.
We're going to talk about how to position yourself inside other communities, not necessarily like the paid one, like the work group, but how to interact with the clients in the online space and not come off with that like desperate proving energy, offering something somebody doesn't actually want and need. So I have Brittany Gardner here to share how she shows up in groups. I think we're talking a lot about Facebook groups, right?
Yeah. So I think as we talked about, it's kind of like the long game aspect of it. I've been a part of your network since like 2020. So like 5 years. I think I'm the longest person that is talking today who's been a part of your network. So all of the previous people who've spoken, I've done the same prospecting or receiving of job leads. I think from you, I think I've gotten 22 by being in your network so far.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
and that's all again, I can't remember who said it, but one of you said that we're not looking for leads anymore. They're not actively going on and looking through your job ops. Something might pop up and like, okay, I guess I'll go reach out just to feel the flavor of it. But from this point, I'm word of mouth. I have people coming to me, but that's the like greatness of being here for the long game is that I planted so many seeds my first like 1 or 2 years that has allowed me the ability to kind of rest when it comes to marketing myself. I'm like a Sai. I don't really have a website, even though I build websites for people. It's a really fun, ironic catch-22 situation. Um, and I think it's just that, I'm just so sick of building websites when it comes to me. I'm the contractor who builds $1,000,000 houses and then they live in like this never ending, fixer upper because it's like, why? Why? I do it all day. But that's just besides the point. You don't have to be super flashy out there put together. Just jump in and do it. And that's like my best advice for you guys is to do that. And so one of the ways that I jumped in there was joining a bunch of Facebook groups, realizing that if I want my clients and I want my dream clients, I need to be a part of the Squarespace groups. I need to be a part of the Flowdesk groups, the active campaigns, the Kajabis, whatever the tech is, because at some point somebody's going to need assistance. You'll be in those groups and you'll see like I'm so sick of trying to DIY it myself, and so I really am looking for somebody to do X, Y, and Z. And at that point, I would caution you, don't overly pitch yourself, but sit there and add value to that conversation. Inquire like, "Oh, like, why are you struggling with that? What's been the problem? Oh, I know, I've tried this." And it's okay to give away a little bit of your secret sauce because by doing it, you're showing them that you know your stuff. They're gonna,
Mhm.
be there at 3 a.m. in the morning, pulling out their hair, and they're gonna be like, "Oh man, I wish I could reach out to so and so." They're gonna find you, they're gonna DM you, and you're gonna start that whole entire pitch of being like, "Oh great, yeah, like I can hop on. This is my rate, this is what I do, I could take care of that for you." So I've definitely gotten a lot of job leads through that, but that also comes with the tagging back and forth of people in your network. And that's where being a part of the work group has been super beneficial is because we're part of all these groups and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I know that like Angela can do this or Winter would be a great person for this or Susie or whoever else comes to mind for those specific tasks." It's like maybe I don't want to do it, but I want to show them that this person can. And so by doing this, I'm building out my little network of seeding by saying that like I value other people. I'm a real person. I'm not some bot, right? Because I'm real. I'm also putting sometimes random links to my booking page. And so I'm getting some like SEO out there. I'm kind of allowing people to find me and get funneled into me. So I'm offering multiple entry points to me. And I think that's just a really great opportunity for getting job leads. One of the things that I also invested in is sometimes joining low cost summits. Like one specifically was Amy Porterfield's boot camp for going
Mhm.
into DCA. And I think it was like $29. And I'm like, hey, I get to write it off. That's not a problem for me to go into this group. And the reason I did was because a lot of the people that we were seeing coming into the job leads were all DCA grads, and they're looking to build their courses and get started and do all of the framework that Amy teaches. And part of it is that she does teach you should hire out some of this work. And so being able to go in there, I was able to kind of set myself up as the anti flow desk person. And I have a different opinion now because, mind you, this was 3 or 4 years ago, and I was being hired word of mouth from people to help migrate people off of Flowdesk to other service providers because it was not as robust as it is today. So I'm going into that group and people are like, "Oh, which service provider should I use?" And it's like, "Oh, okay. Well, I'm helping somebody currently move from Flowdesk because of these reasons. Like, why do you think that you need this?" And like provided more of those values, citing that I'm doing the work. And I think I ended up with like 5 different discovery calls from that one summit. I locked down 2 clients from it that I helped build their strategic marketing plan out of it. And so it's just those little seeds where like I can spend like, 20 minutes going through Facebook. Like I'm a doom scroller at night. Why not reply to messages and, work from my bed when I want to? And I think those are really great returns, right? You get a client out of it. I spent $29. It was a one-time fee and my information lasts in that group for years. I joined again, and I've done a lot of that in summits that I'm a part of because there are summits that I want to attend and I'm learning. And by being able to go in as a service provider, as a marketing professional, as a strategist, I'm able to provide that value that, other people might be looking to grow their business and need a little handholding or need to get there. And one of those ways is by offering coffee chats. Not necessarily, hey, you got to pay to hang out with me, but hey, let's do that little bit of networking to, figure out what are you doing? What are your skills? What can I be on the lookout for you so that I then can refer you in Facebook groups or you can refer me in Facebook groups. And so you need to have that networking kind of in place. And I say this as a 100% introvert and somebody who, like, will not go to any chamber of commerce meetings. That was, like, the worst experience of my life when I went to one in person. Being able to do things behind your computer and to do it one-on-one and be able to kinda control that situation is, like, a chef's kiss for somebody like me, who understands I need to be out there, but, like, the effort to be out there is so draining for me. So, I would just really, if you're meaning like me a little bit, kinda go that way and build those connections and really look for there's that delicate balance of, like, quantity over quality, right? Or
Mhm.
quality over quantity, depending on what you're looking for in it. I've done the route of I think one year, I went, like, November through December, I, like, interviewed whoever or had discovery calls with whoever would come back
I
with me.
remember that.
Like, over, like, 20, 30 calls, and I got 0 clients from that, and it was because somebody told me, like, "Oh, you need to do as many calls as possible, and you'll just land your person," and I'm like, when I first started, I took 6 calls, and I took all 6 clients home with me.
Mhm.
Like, I just needed to find the clients that were right for me, and so going through and looking through those job leads, you can be selective, and I know there's sometimes when you're in feast or famine mode, like, you want like, we'll take whatever you want, but oftentimes those are the job leads, like, you kinda, like, regret, and you are looking to offload as quickly as possible, but there is no right or wrong reason, it's just kind of whatever your effort is into trying to find a job lead, that energy is going to reciprocate for you. There's no guarantee for getting jobs, but there are a lot of ways to make sure that you are leveraged and put into a position to be found and to be a hot commodity if you have the skills and services that can back it up.
Ooh, that was a good soundbite right there. Okay, I want to cover a couple of things you just said. So, strategically, Brittany's in the groups where these clients are hiring. So you've done the research, you're hanging out there. I loved when you said do not overly pitch yourself. I almost see it two ways when I'm in these groups. And by the way, I've gotten a lot of job leads for the work group, just me being active too. I see a lot of people just do like the hands up emoji. Like, who do I know that does this? It's like a straight up like job request, and people are like, me. And that never works. There's no context. That even happens in the work group. I'm going to call some of you out. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I need a trauma informed customer service person, and like a couple people didn't acknowledge the thing that I actually needed, right? Or I say I need your email, and then we don't put in the email. So I'm going to call a couple of us out on there. But I also see the overly like book a call here, book a call here. But again, no context. I was in a Facebook group a couple years ago, and someone was talking, had an issue, and all these people jumped on them and like, my packages are this and this and this. And all I said, Brittany, was, where are you stuck? I wasn't even looking for a client. And guess who fell in love with me and hired me and wanted to was like begging to get on my calendar. And so I also loved what you said. I made notes about this. You're seeding in that you do the client work, and you can do this in your discovery calls. It just oozes confidence. You're like, oh, and my last client project, or I've run across this glitch when I was doing this client's thing, or, just kind of casually mentioning that you do client work, I think is like probably the very strategic way to say you sell without selling.
Yeah, 100%. You don't want to overthink it. You don't want somebody to, yeah, see all the links, be overwhelmed by all the links. It's one of the great things about the work group is that you try to limit it to 10 people applying for a job op because it's overwhelming. I've talked to to the clients that are saying like, "Oh my gosh, I had 4 people inbox me like right away." And they're just like overwhelmed by 4. And you gotta go into these groups and you see, like, so many people just throw spaghetti at the wall, and
Mhm.
it reeks of desperation sometimes. So being able to go in and say, like, "Hey, why are you stuck? Why are you looking to change your whole entire platform on a website to something completely different? Like, who's speaking into your ear right now that we need to silence so you can maintain the course not do something drastic that you'll hate and spend thousands of dollars on. Like, let's just take a pause and see how we can fix the situation. And so those people are the ones that, they want the little hand holding. They want to be, told it's okay. And again, this is also kind of subjective because if you are attracting higher clients, people like in your mastermind, those people aren't going to be in those Facebook groups that are asking for like, oh, like I need a recommendation. They're going through and they're going to you. They're going to people in their network and asking, what VA, who are you working with? Who can solve my
Right.
problem? And they're going to get that done ASAP. Where these people in the Facebook groups, the people who are starting out, who are asking questions, they might be limited in their knowledge, and so, they're starting up, and so you need to kind of nurture and coddle and go the long game with them, um,
Mhm.
to help them get to a place in their business that they're comfortable with, and hopefully you get them to an Amy Porterfield status.
I'm glad you brought that up because I was thinking about that while you're talking, like, but where are the higher end clients? That's probably what a lot of people are asking. And there are those Facebook groups. I'm in some of them with high level people, and not just anyone is invited. And they will straight up ask because they feel safe, because they're not gonna get inundated with 40,000 virtual assistants reaching out to them, but it's all peer to peer referrals, which is why we talked about Angela. That's why we brought up Sai and client referrals, because it's a networking game.
Mhm.
Those Facebook groups exist, but sometimes you do pay to get in them. Sometimes they're free, or sometimes like the tech ones can be a resource of both. But I'm glad you brought that up, because you are gonna have to figure out like, my ideal client, where are they? And not every seven-figure business owner is going to just like blatantly say like, I'm hiring
What
in these places.
Yeah, and I think it's also good to go in with a level head of understanding that you may have to pay your dues. And so, like, my first
Yeah.
year, my first clients, I charged $20 an hour, and now I'm up to, like, 75, and, like, I am priced out of certain people, and that was actually part of my pitch when I first started, was that, like, I know what I'm doing, I'm not, like, your bottom of the barrel VA, but I'm also not, too expensive that you can't afford me. That was always part of my first pitch in my first 1 or 2 years, justifying that, like, like, "Oh, I charge 35 an hour." Where, like, now, like, people that's, like, the new 20. I don't know for sure, but I don't hang out over there. And I think that's okay to kind of be honest and say that, like, my price reflects my skill set. Do you want somebody who doesn't know how to do everything? Or do you wanna pay for the specialist that isn't gonna help you for the things that they're not specialized in? Like,
Yeah.
that sweet spot. So, if you go in realizing that you're not maybe gonna get that $1,000,000 client all the time, and then you kinda have to work for it, I think you'll go in a healthier way of landing jobs and landing clients.
Yeah. It is a long game. I'm glad you brought that up. It can also be a quick ROI if it's something that you do consistently. People can see your activity and your history. And this works outside of Facebook groups. This could work on other social media platforms. Like communities are everywhere, right? Like it could be like in a free circle community. It could be on LinkedIn. It could be in Reddit. There are other forums too. Facebook just seems to be the easiest one to search and find. But you have to, and you mentioned this, optimize your main profile. So if you're interacting in this one group, when people click away, and this is kind of the common theme today, what are they going to find? Do you look professional and official? And is it very clear what the next step is? And so I had somebody come to me the other day kind of complaining about freelancers and they're like, I'm trying to figure out who you are, you're interacting, and then I click over and I can't tell anymore. And so you really have to think about that customer journey and how you're presented in the online space. And it doesn't mean you have to be posting to social regular, but you do need to have your core messaging done.
Yeah, and I think for what I have set up for me is that I try to have professional looking graphics or professional assets that I can use. Um,
Mhm.
I'm pretty faceless on my stuff. I don't like showing my face. So being on Instagram is hard. And so I have like my grid. It is what it is. I try to update occasionally, but I'm not active on Instagram. I'm really active on threads. I'm more than happy to sit there and connect and write anything and everything on threads because
Yeah.
it's faceless. But also my website, even though I say I don't have one, I have one. I bought the domain name. And I think that's a huge thing that you could do for your business is just buy the domain name and put like coming soon or just put your booking link at that point because somebody's going to say like, "Oh, well they bought the domain. That's better than, whatever your business
Yes.
.wordpress.com."
Or
Like,
a 404 or something. Yes.
so at least do something, park it, own it, throw a little something up there just so it shows that you're a real person. It's the same thing I tell, I've worked with social media like women, Gen Xers, maybe even boomers. And I always have to say, like, I know you don't want to be on Instagram, but I just need you to show up occasionally. Just show up that you are a real person, that you're still breathing, and
Yeah.
that you're around. Just pop in every now and like a few things, comment on a few things, but you don't have to go all in and have this huge social media strategy. And I just don't think that's a good ROI
No.
marketing. I
I
would
don't
rather.
think social is ever a good ROI for a freelancer. I will just die on that hill. But you said you went into key summits, key challenges, key workshops, and that's what I have done. If I have been speaking, I have networked with the other speakers. Janelle talked about that with the bundles. Just don't spread yourself too thin. Like if you're going to pay to be in somewhere, make sure you have the capacity to actually do it and block the time and do it and be strategic, intentional about that. Like being in too many, it's about quality, right? Not just the quantity.
100%, yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Brittany, for sharing that. I think that's such an easy thing that people can do right now to gain clients is like figure out what are those couple of Facebook groups to be in and start interacting there and like build that archived activity. So when people look at you, they're like, oh, she didn't just suddenly show up and post because somebody's hiring. So okay, and then we put your Instagram, even though you're kind of in and out over there, but
I'm in the process of
Yeah.
rebuilding,
Yeah.
rebranding, going through refining things. But
And I
I
mean,
did want to say one more thing.
yeah.
Since everybody was talking about their ROI being in the work group,
Oh,
my ROI since joining has been 1,766%.
oh my gosh, 1,000%.
1,700, yeah.
Oh
Since
my god.
so, like, thank you. Like, I will ride or die for anybody who says, like, "Oh, it's too expensive." Like, it is not. If you know what you're doing, you can get in, it's worth it. I, like, freaked out when I first joined being like, "I don't know if I can afford that." And I have never like I said, I booked out 6 clients within the first month. Like, it's totally possible, it's great, like and, like, I'm at to the point where I don't have to look for clients. I've seeded myself enough that people come to me now.
I think that's the biggest win right there, just like Angela too. It's like that is where the power is. People are finding you and you don't have to cold pitch anyone.
Yeah, and I don't have to play the game. Like, I can play my own game, I guess.
You're safe. Like that roller coaster has evened out and you have been very smart about it. And again, it's long term. It didn't happen overnight, everybody. Oh, thank you for sharing that. I'm like really like trying not to cry when everyone shares their numbers. I'm like, oh, just the impact here. It feels so good.